and welcome back to WesPregame. Have the great pleasure of being joined now by longtime athletic director, but now newly Hall of Famer, John Biddiscombe. John, thanks for being here.
Well, my pleasure to come this morning.
Yeah, we had you here last year, and you were down at the docks getting one of the crew boats honored in your name, and now Hall of Famer this year. What's the last year been like for you?
Well, obviously, coming back this fall, working part-time with the athletics department, not necessarily have the full responsibility of worrying about all the details. It's been a big change for me, but I've been able to enjoy working on a couple projects for Mike Whalen, and enjoying a relationship with my colleagues in a different way. And then, of course, this most recent weekend where I was inducted into the Wesleyan University Athletics Hall of Fame, and also there was a dedication ceremony last night where they named the wrestling room in my honor. So I'm kind of on cloud nine, to tell you the truth, right now, feeling like this has been a very special weekend for me. The most special part of it actually has been seeing a lot of the teammates from one of the teams who was also inducted last night, the 1983-84 wrestling team, which won the New England Championship, had one of the strongest years ever in Wesleyan wrestling, and to have so many of the guys from that team come back, be a part of the festivities and the celebration last night was really very, very special.
Yeah, you mentioned the returning athletes from that team, and really, as we've just been discussing throughout the day, the tradition that Wesleyan has. During your time, what are some of the memories, the moments that stand out to you most about Wesleyan and the athletics here?
Well, I mean, there's probably three things that just quickly jump out in my mind. The first thing is coming to Wesleyan in the early 70s was the inclusion of women in intercollegiate athletics for the first time in Wesleyan's history. And Wesleyan made a commitment to co-education much earlier than many of our counterpart schools in New England, and particularly in what now is the NESCAC Conference. And secondly, when we did make that commitment, we made a commitment that we were going to do it as rapidly as possible. So there was a infusion of women to a high degree, a high number, I should say, and also obviously into the athletics program without increasing our facilities or staffing or budget. So it was an adjustment period, obviously. So that was a big part of my early years here, seeing that all transpire. The second thing is to see the competitive level of athletics. When I started, all of us were multiple sport coaches. I coached 3 sports actually to start with, and so did most of my colleagues, at least 2. And so therefore you were recruiting for 2 sports, you were planning for 2 sports, you were counseling students in 2 sports. So I think the competitiveness, although it was important to those guys, the high level of play wasn't just because the sheer number of things that coaches and athletes were doing playing 2 sports wasn't quite the same as it is today. And in the last decade, or even 2 decades, the transition to specialization has made the competition so much greater. The third thing I think is how Wesleyan has embraced in athletics over the years as a real sense of making sure that excellence in athletics is represented the same way excellence is represented from all standpoints at Wesleyan, whether it's academic or social life or facilities. And again, to me, the signal of that is the Freeman Athletic Center and the adjoining field spaces. You wouldn't spend that kind of money and make that kind of commitment if you didn't feel that really athletics was an integral part of a liberal education. So all those 3 things, I think, have a special part in my life here at Wesleyan. And also, I think it was an opportunity for me that most athletic directors never get. One, to be a part of bringing in co-education, starting hiring women head coaches for the first time when we had only part-time women coaches. The second thing is to have the opportunity to build probably the best athletic facilities in NESCAC at this point. And then third thing is to see the transition to specialization and convince the administration that we needed to have coaches who were specialists and that we needed to be much more competitive.
Yeah, talking to Todd Moger in Class 83 earlier, he was saying how the weight room used to be on top of one of the buildings behind us here, and now, as you said, the Freeman Athletic Center. It's absolutely beautiful. Now, even as a student, if you go there, the facilities are absolutely amazing all around. wherever you're looking to do.
Right.
So moving on, as we've been saying, the football team's 4-0, and what's your impression and just the excitement in your eyes at this point for the success this year in the game today?
Well, I think the key coming into the game, excuse me, and at least in my thinking, is that we are a well-balanced team. We have no superstars. We have very, very good talent in almost every facet of the game, but we don't have one or two players that we feature and that we really depend on, kind of ride their shoulders to victory. And I think that is a secret to our success. If we can have every unit play up to their potential, then we have a very good chance of winning today, because we really don't have any holes. I watch our kicking game improve from week to week. The confidence of our place kicking, the confidence of our punters, our punt returners. We don't fumble the ball on kickoff returns and punt returns. We make good decisions.
Yeah.
You know, just the decision whether to return a kick or not is crucial sometimes to winning a game. Because that's, you know, you watch big time college games and pro games, often that will be deciding factors. Somebody, you know, muffs a punt or returns a kick when they shouldn't have, doesn't use good judgment. So they're well coached and they're well balanced. We run well, we pass well, we play good defense. We don't have the best secondary in NESCAC, but we certainly have a secondary that will not give up the big play and make you really work very hard to move down the field. And so that shows me that we're going to be in the game. And you know, of course, the ball bounces funny, as you and I both know, and things can happen. But I think that we have a very strong chance of winning based upon our balance.
Yeah, I totally agree. You look at our roster and we have a stable of running backs, both with Darius and Kyle. Our passing game, we have a great group of tight ends, some receivers, and again, defense. As you mentioned, like solid all around. There really are no holes, so it's going to be a fabulous game to watch, and we're really looking forward to it. I want to thank you again for joining us. It's been
my
a pleasure.
pleasure. Great.
Pleasure
Nice
having
to be
you
here.